Hi you guys, today we're going to be talking about the basics of the rifle, the parts of it, and then some tips and tricks for tossing. So to start, let's define the parts of the rifle. So on this end over here, this is what we call the nose. On the opposite end is what we call the butt. And then this middle area that my right hand is underneath with this little divot is known as the nose. So it's really important to know these three parts because in choreography you will often be holding one of these, but it's also really important for catching and tossing the tosses that we do as a rifle. So this position right here with your left hand on top and your right hand underneath is kind of what we call the default position for a rifle because it's perfect before doing drop spins, but it's also how you catch your tosses. This is the position you will hit when you're catching those tosses. But before catching it, you do have to physically toss it. So let's talk about that position a little bit. So each rifle will have a strap with two metal things on each end. When you do a toss, you want your left hand directly inside of that first metal clamp, and you want your right hand to be on top for stability's sake. One thing you'll learn is that your left hand basically does all of the work for tossing. Your right hand should just be used for stability. You don't want to be pushing down with your right hand to try to get more momentum for those tosses. It's simply for stability's sake because, as you can see, you can do a toss without that right hand, but you definitely want it there when you do those large tosses that would require a dip beforehand. So having the right hand for stability is great. But your left hand will be in control of height, momentum, the plane that it rotates on, and stuff like that. A common beginner mistake is that while the rifle should be spinning like this, following the same plane, oftentimes the rifle also is accidentally turning this way. That is because your left hand is not being straight and stable as you are releasing that rifle. So that could mean your fingertips are making it roll slightly this way when you're releasing, or vice versa. Everybody's a little bit different, but if you're noticing that problem as you're tossing, just remember that's going to come from your left hand. In terms of height, every toss will be a little bit different. But to kind of gauge it, your singles should be right in front of your face. Your doubles will be a little bit higher than your triples, your quads, so on and so forth. But in terms of rotation, rifle is a little bit different than flag. So for rifle, a single rotation is what we call a drop spin. Therefore, our single toss is going to be 2 rotations. Our double is going to be 3 rotations, so on and so forth as we go on and up. This can be hard to gauge when you're a beginner, so there's a couple things that you can do to kind of just make sure you're getting the correct rotations in. So first is just to videotape yourself. Watch how many times is my rifle rotating in the air, and that can tell you what kind of toss you're throwing. But also what you can do for all the rifles that I gave out, I did put a piece of black tape on the inside here. This is a great way for you to kind of watch your toss in the air because obviously this is a white rifle and the sky can be super bright. So having a black strip here can help you count while it's in the air how many rotations you are getting in, and so on and so forth. But yeah, this is going to be the default position in terms of tossing. Now there's a bunch of different types of tosses, which we're not going to talk about today because those will be a little bit different. But when in doubt, toss with your left hand and right hand like this, and make sure to catch underneath the neck and on top of the nose. But yeah, that's kind of the basics of the parts of the rifle, how tossing should look, and stuff like that.